Week 15 is in the books. I cannot wait to talk about it. We're going to talk Seattle, Dallas, Niners, Chiefs. Oh my God, the Jets, Miami, Aaron Rodgers, everything. We're going to talk about it all. But before we get there, it's a special day because we have one of our followers, one of our friends on the podcast with us today. Let's give it up for Taryn.
Woo! Yay!
And I did let her on, even though she is a diehard Dallas fan.
We love it.
We love it.
We don't hate
Welcome.
They needed the diversity around here.
Yeah.
It was too red and gold.
They needed easy. And by the way, you can
I mean, you look amazing.
My red and gold for the NFC champions.
Yeah,
I had to bring the heat.
Man,
oh man.
I had to bring the heat, which we'll get to it. But welcome to
Thank you.
the squad. Thank
Yes.
you for coming. I know you came from San Diego.
I did.
Before we get too much into it, why don't you just give us a little bit of how you became a Dallas fan? And we talked about where you're from real quick.
Yes, absolutely. So I originally am from Sacramento. Actually from Folsom, which we will get into because Folsom has recently hit the map in the NFL with Jake Browning. Yes. But grew up in Folsom, and I grew up in a household where it was my mom and my older brother were diehard 49er fans.
Thank you.
And then me and my dad were the Dallas Cowboy diehard. So we always had a rival family.
It was
and then
a
my
daddy-daughter bond.
Yes.
I love it.
And then my little brother randomly became a Jaguars fan and kind of threw us all off. But
that's weird.
Some will veer from the path.
You always have one in the family, right?
And
where
he's
they're
the
like, I'm not
only
doing
loyal Jaguars fan I know. I'm like, they don't have many, so good for him.
Good for him.
Wow.
That's amazing.
And then
rough.
just moved down to San Diego the beginning of this year.
Welcome to SoCal.
I love it. I love San Diego. I was meant for Southern California.
Yes.
It's nice to be away from some of the 49er fans.
She's already starting.
With heavy 49ers.
She's already starting.
You moved all the way to San Diego, but you're sitting by two of them right now.
I
don't know what to tell you.
But I was in Dallas last week.
I saw
And
that.
that was such a good time.
How was it?
I feel like I knew I was going to have a good, so I went to be there with another Dallas fan. She's a diehard Dallas fan. So she's like, I'm going to take you to the Star. And I'm like, what's the Star? I have a feeling this isn't good because it sounds like very Dallas-y. She's like, no, I'm going to take you to the Star. But first we're going to go to like Jerry Jones's house. I'm like, let's go there.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm going to get in.
Oh, here we go.
I have some things to talk to this man about.
I have an agenda here.
Yeah, I have an agenda. But no, we drove by Jerry's house and it was beautiful.
Did you Zillow it to see how much it cost? That would have been my first go-to.
Yeah, we'll have to do that.
Do they have any pictures?
Probably not recent ones, but I just want to know how much it costs.
Well, I will tell you, it was a long ride from the left part of his house to the right part of his house. And it was at night, so it was like all the colors, the Christmas. It's like a vibe.
Oh, yeah.
We our social media was doing really good about my little Niner trip in Dallas.
Yeah.
Because,
we love to see it.
I'm always going to be me. So we went to the Star, which for Dallas fans, you have to go. If you're Dallas, even if you're not, it's just part of like being a fan.
You have to
What
experience
is it?
The whole experience.
Yeah, what is it?
Yeah.
So it's like this little shopping kind of entertainment area.
It's like LA Live down here.
Kind of.
Okay.
Kind of like an LA Live.
Okay.
But like right when you pull in, like, of course you see the big Star.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm like, get me out of here.
She's like beaming with pride. She's like, that's
I
my
love
Star.
Everywhere I turned, it was Dallas memorabilia. It was
I love
Dallas,
it.
No, I love it. It was
Yes.
players, and because I'm a diehard Niner fan, I know the Dallas Reggie
Yes.
White. You talk about Troy
Legacy
Aikman,
teams, legacy teams.
legacy players,
Yeah.
legacy teams. So it was still cool. And then when you go, there's like a big football field, so you can play with the kids.
Oh,
and,
that's cool.
and my favorite.
And it looks so pretty this time of year.
It's really nice.
too.
My favorite was walking into, there was like this boutique store.
Yeah.
Well, you know me, I had the camera on. I'm like, excuse me, can you show me where the Niner jerseys
Oh,
are?
boy.
Nowhere.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
And the lady was
Security
so good.
come
In
and
the
escort you out.
garbage.
Yeah.
Security.
Out back,
No,
ma'am.
she was so cute, and she was like with her 60-year-old self. She's like, I think there's in the trash can. I was like,
Spicy.
she got
I
me.
love it.
Yes.
And,
I have your back.
So that was pretty much how my whole trip went, and there was a really cool gym. It's a Dallas gym.
Okay.
And so then I went in there and I'm like, excuse me, I'm looking for the 49er gym.
Oh.
And the guy literally just looked at me and I literally for 4 seconds did not know what to say.
Poor thing.
And I was like, I'm
Not
kidding.
anywhere
Yeah,
near
it was
here.
great. Yeah, it was great. So all of that to say, it was really
That you
fun.
love Dallas.
No.
And you're becoming a Dallas Cowboys
No, I
fan.
That's what you're taking.
That's what I got.
And it's weird because it's Frisco, Texas, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
San
weird.
Francisco.
Weird.
Anyway, but we're going to talk about the game. We're going to stay friends
Yes, we
no
are.
matter what. We made that pact. But first of all, let's talk about Monday night.
Man.
What's
Great game.
a great game to watch if you're a
Them
football fan.
Eagles.
The Eagles, the Seahawks. And I mean, let's just open the floor. Who wants to go first?
I mean, it was a battle of the birds, right?
Right?
Yeah.
That's what I always say.
Yes.
Battle of the birds. And coming into that game, I mean, I think everybody's go-to was the Eagles.
Yeah.
But the Seahawks, I think, were 15-0 against them at that
Yep.
point, and now they're 16-0.
Yep.
And I dare any one of you to tell me that last 3 minutes you weren't like the Eagles are going to win this game.
I 100% thought they were
And
going to
out
pull
of
it out.
nowhere.
They were
Yeah.
in my pick'ems. I thought for sure.
Because they tend to be that team that does pull it off, and
Yeah.
you come to expect that from
Yes.
them.
But dum.
But
Well, of course,
they weren't.
I did the ultimate, like I do every podcast. I talk to you about how I wanted to change my pick.
Yes.
So the last time I wanted to change my pick, and I did, I lost.
Oh.
Okay. So then this time, something told me. I get.
Your intuition just starts
Well,
to.
all of a
Spidey
sudden,
feels.
right around the 10 minutes before kickoff, I'm
Yeah.
listening to the commentary, and usually an interview, something sells me the other way.
Yeah.
And I saw something, and I'm like, I'm getting, and then you didn't know who was gonna play.
Oh,
You didn't
right.
know,
Yeah,
is
that's
Gino
true.
Gonna play,
Drew
or
Lock.
quarterback's gonna play. So
Yeah.
I was like letting it go.
Yeah.
And then finally, I was like, I don't know. I feel like the Seahawks
Yes.
could do it but then I'm like, there's no way the Eagles are gonna go down 3 times, right?
Yeah.
So I
think we
let
all
it
thought that.
ride.
Yeah.
But I wanted to change it. I didn't, and I lost that one.
But they did you a favor overall
They
as a
did.
Niners
That's
fan.
true.
They did
That's
you a
true,
favor.
right?
Exactly.
You lost the pick'ems, but you won.
100% could care less about my
Right,
picks at that
right.
time.
But you
As
know.
a Niner fan, and it's, by the way, it's been nice as a Niner fan to be on the same page as the Dallas Cowboy fans. For
Yes.
2
Which
weeks.
does not happen. very
Never,
often.
never. Every Dallas fan, for the newbies out there, right?
Yes.
The Dallas 49er rivalry is probably one of the biggest in the NFL.
Yeah.
Would you guys agree?
Yeah.
What, Bears, Packers?
No, much bigger.
Bigger? Okay.
Yeah.
So,
And deeper. I mean, it's a long time.
and
A
both
lot
of
of
us
drama.
have not
Yeah.
won a Super Bowl in like 25, 26
hungry.
years.
They're
so
hungry.
like we lost and we won the same amount of time.
but we
Like,
both talk a lot too.
we did. And the fan bases are crazy. But we all we all together don't like the Eagles because they're in
100%.
our division.
Right.
So we all want the Eagles to lose, but now that it's over, it goes back to the rivalry that we all
Yes.
love, right?
Yes.
And now
Now it's on.
The Cowboys will hate the Niners, and the Niners will hate the Cowboys, and we'll go
But
that
for
way.
one night, there was a common bond.
Yeah.
For one night, there was a
know-
You know what I
combine.
liked though is so Pete Carroll makes the decision. I'm putting Drew Lock in. We're gonna sit out Gino. But at the very end, when Drew had that touchdown,
Yeah.
and they panned over to Gino, and Gino was like giving him his props. I loved
Yep.
to see
I
that.
love
Yes.
These were 2 quarterbacks that were like, "Hey, even though I feel a little snubbed tonight, I don't care. I'm happy for my team."
Yeah.
Yes.
That I like. And he had a great. He was 22 for 33. He had 1
Yes.
touchdown. You know who didn't have a touchdown? Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
But he had 2 picks.
Yeah.
That part.
Yeah.
That part. I was after the interviews after the game when he was kind of just talking about, I liked how he was just giving flowers to everybody.
Yeah.
He was talking about how it was the offense and the defense and how collectively they won this together, and it was just so opposite of what we've heard from, like, I don't know, Zach Wilson back on the night. Like
Right.
we've heard the other part of that kind
Right.
of ego trip, if you
Yeah.
will. And so to hear him just be so humbled, you know,
Yes.
he had been cut from the Broncos. He's kind of been around. He's just kind of been overlooked for a long time.
Yeah.
Didn't think he was going to have his time at all this
Yeah.
season, and to be put in to perform, to execute,
Yeah.
to help us out. I mean, it was a good night. We were not complaining about it at all.
He was drafted in 2019, pick 42, I believe, round
Wow.
2. and you didn't really do well with the Broncos.
No.
And what I love, and you guys know I love a good underdog. I love seeing people win.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
As long as it's not Dallas. But no, you do. You love I'm just kidding. I love seeing people win. And to hear him, he literally said, sometimes you start wondering if you have it anymore.
Yeah.
And it just I almost had like a tear.
Yeah, like Mama Bear. You're just like, oh, I'm so proud of you.
I want to see him succeed. I want
For sure.
I want everyone. Listen, there's enough room in the NFL
Character matters
to have like people like those kind of guys.
And this year for quarterbacks, we have needed them more than ever.
That QB shuffle. I told you, it's Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory, and they are falling into that chocolate river one by one.
So I'm so glad he got his time.
What? I want to know, because everyone was saying, oh, the Seahawks are nothing. The Seahawks are nothing when Dallas beat them. So now are the Seahawks still nothing?
That's right.
Or are we going to turn this in the Eagles?
Because they performed without Geno. So it's like, I mean, that's impressive.
Any given Monday. What do you want me to say?
Well, let's talk about a little bit about the Seahawks. And I, as a Niner fan, obviously they're in my division. I'm telling Metcalf with his, anger management issues or not, he is a beast.
Yeah,
he is.
for sure.
He is a beast. I hate going up against him. Yeah. I was proud of my boys for pulling out the W. But it's never easy.
Yeah.
And it's never easy to play in that stadium.
No.
So,
it's loud.
It's
one of the loudest stadiums when they did the decibel rating.
Yeah.
It's loud in there.
I mean, they've been known for that.
I've been there too. You can't hear anything.
And you got to love, again, Pete Carroll and we have a thing. But when his hat is to the back at like 72 years old, and he just so happy in the press conference. I mean,
did you see him with his hat in the press conference?
His hat to the back. He's like,
it was weird.
Okay.
I didn't like that.
I'm like,
I didn't like it.
Yeah, I didn't like it either, but I have to laugh at it.
But
I'm just like,
himself.
He's like an extra piece of gum for me tonight.
Give me my bubblicious,
An extra piece of gum.
He's all proud of himself.
So we definitely want to give Seahawks their flowers and their fluorescent green. But let's talk about the Eagles for a second, because I have to tell you that, and I'd like to know your girls' thoughts on this, but like looking at Jalen Hurts after the loss and on the bench, I keep seeing the same guy on the bench for all three of these losses.
Yeah.
And you guys know me. I want a hype quarterback.
Right.
I want a quarterback who's going to lead. And maybe I missed it. Maybe they didn't show, the cameraman didn't show Jalen going to the team and to the defense and saying, we got you. Just get them 3 and out and we'll come back. We'll take, I'm not seeing him talking to other players on the sideline. Am I missing something?
No.
Are you, because all I see is him sitting on the bench, defeated.
Feeling sorry for himself.
Just
He's embarrassed.
Right? And even, we'll give him, okay, you were sick yesterday, but even the last 2 games, same person.
Yeah.
On the same bench.
Yeah.
With the same attitude, which is nothing. And
but that's the difference of an MVP quarterback and then what we're seeing with him. And, Jalen Hurts, when the Eagles are doing good and they're shining, it's easy to be that person. Yeah. It's easy to be that quarterback.
Right.
But then when you start struggling is when you start to see character and you start to see the leadership. Yeah. And, if he's crying on the sidelines and doing all that, and then in the press conference making his commitment comments that no one knows what Jalen Hurts means on that, you're not showing a leader and you're not showing an MVP quality quarterback.
Right. And what Taryn's talking about, did you guys see it? His press conference after?
Oh, yeah.
He basically, go ahead, say what he said.
I don't want to be the one to talk about it. I don't want to say anything negative.
Yeah.
I got to be
basically,
careful
he
right
said
now.
he didn't really pump the team up. He basically was saying we have a problem inside our locker room, and I question the commitment.
Which you never say.
Never.
And I'm really trying not to be negative here, but you do not talk about what happens in that locker room.
Publicly.
Do not give the world an in-look to that,
Do not air your dirty laundry.
Do not.
You keep that. And that's a solid team when you keep that camaraderie.
In-house.
Yes. But when it starts spilling out and you see it spewing,
it's messy. And it brings everybody down. It affects
Hurts
everybody.
has most turnovers this season. He's tied with your buddy, Dobbs. The Dobster not. Pour the Dobster not.
No, we'll get to him.
We'll get to him. Who's on the Vikings. He's got 17 turnovers. Josh Allen has 17.
Leave him alone this week.
I know. And the Hurts. And Jalen has 17. So those are the three with the most turnovers.
Wow.
I mean, you know who's not on that list is Dak Prescott.
Oh, boy. You see what's going to go
that
on?
in there.
Just going to throw that out there.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see because we do have to throw this out there that, you know, regardless of their loss, they are in the playoffs.
Yep.
So there's 4 teams that have clinched: the Niners, Dallas, Ravens, and Eagles.
Yes.
So it doesn't mean that they're out of contention.
Yeah.
I forget who they play this. Who do they play this week? I forget who the Eagles play, but we haven't heard the end of them. Is my point,
no.
Definitely. You
Right,
can never count them out.
No.
And you have to bring. Did you guys hear this whole like Matt Patricia thing about? So he for the newer people here too. So he was, you know, in the Belichick era with the Patriots, right? When
with
it was
the pencil in the air
when they were at their height, right? And I think we've seen this a lot with coordinators this year that are formerly Patriots coordinators that are now struggling in the league, right? And so now he went to the Lions. He was a head coach there. He didn't fare well there. Went back to the Patriots, and now he's at the Eagles as a defensive coordinator. And I feel like we just have to kind of point fingers where the defense is lacking, and the defensive coordinator has come from the Belichick era, and we've seen this over and over and over with countless coordinators from that time. And so it's like,
so
is
weird,
it a
So
curse?
true.
Is it just a lack of?
No, I think they're conditioned to do whatever Belichick had said, and that's what's seeped into their brain. And now they just feel like this is the right thing to do. And it's, I mean,
so
defensively,
committed.
they were not there for me.
Right.
I mean, I don't.
Right.
At that point.
So yeah, I think we have to just, I don't know,
It's
Matt
gonna be-
Patricia.
And I go back to what I keep saying. It just shocks me after the draft they had.
Right.
Practically all of Georgia, which is a champions back to back of college.
All those Bulldogs.
The Bulldogs are on the Eagles team after they had Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So it's mind boggling to me what is happening over there.
Right. It's not a lack of talent.
It's not. There's something behind the scenes that we are not privy to.
Right.
And
Well, the
clearly
Eagles have the Giants this week.
Oh, that's who
who
it
they're
is.
playing. So
Oh, okay.
Thank you for that.
They should get. It should
better
be an
get
easy
that one.
win. That'll be kind of.
I don't
a good
know.
tell.
Man, I don't know. Todd
I
made
don't know. DeVito with his agent looking like Inspector Gadget up and down that field.
Man,
Give me a
hey,
break.
I'm saying this right now. If DeVito and the Leprechaun get that W,
You got
Man, that
I will
agent's having
buy
the time of his
everybody
life.
coffee next month.
Oh, wait,
Next-
did we
next
hear this?
podcast.
What?
Okay.
Did you put a wager on it?
I did. If the Giants pull out the Eagles, I will bring everybody coffee next week.
We'll see.
I just out of pure, I can't believe that this is happening right now. But
Okay.
because you're our guest,
Let's go there
We're gonna
first.
go with the Bills Dallas game. How about that? I'm gonna save my winning jacket.
You don't want to jump back to
No.
last week when the Cowboys beat the Eagles?
No.
We don't want to talk about that.
No, you missed it. Joe was here instead. Let's talk about your Dallas
Let's hear your
losing
opinion.
to the Bills. How do you feel about that?
You know, I'm not worried about it. I did not take this loss too hard. I think, though, it is a good reality check for the Cowboys on the road. Hey, we still are weak here.
Right.
We are so strong at home, but as we know, the road to the Super Bowl doesn't
Santa Clara.
consist of in Dallas every weekend.
Thank you.
So we need to get it together on the road. We need to get it figured out of how we can carry that momentum going into it. But, you know, we really just did not even show up.
Here's my thing.
Uh-oh.
Here's my thing.
I'm ready.
Super Bowl teams do not play like this in December. They don't. And I'm sorry, but like this team, when they travel, is a different team.
Yeah.
You know, in the first 57 minutes of the game, they had 3 points on the board.
Well, and our flags.
But see, now we want to go into flags. You punted the ball 5 times.
I'm glad she's saying it. I get to sit out. and
No,
listen.
hold on. You punted the ball 5 times. You had 8 first downs in the entirety of this game. What happened? I think what happened is you got beat
I'll
by
tell
the
you what
team that was
happened.
better that day. Josh Allen came forward and said, this was a team effort a group project, I think he said, that I showed up to and we all did it together.
Yes.
And the Bills defense has been banged up for a while. but they showed up. And they confused you guys. There was a couple of times where Dak was in the pocket and he didn't know what to do. And you could see they were getting really creative defensively. And on that game, I just think, the Bills are still in the hunt and they showed up.
Yeah.
And, I think that's what the difference was, though, is that the Bills were hungry.
Yeah.
The Bills needed that win.
100%.
Where, the Cowboys, we already clinched it. Our big win, we was focused on the Eagles. We needed that Eagles win. We put our everything. And, that's kind of something that Dallas also struggles with is we put our all into that. And then the next week, we just don't show up. But we weren't those Cowboys that we have been, that show up at home and make it happen and make those big plays. And we just were flat. We weren't.
But can I add to this?
But, it was
like,
one game. Before we start beating up on the Cowboys, let's look at the Eagles have had 3 losses. The Cowboys have had 1.
We changed that subject.
We have time to turn it around.
We don't go backwards here.
And next week, next week will be a telling week because we're on the road again against Miami.
That's very
All
true.
of that is true, but I have to tell you, and of course, as a Niner fan, I was going for the Bills. I'm sorry, and half of my best friends are Dallas Cowboy fans. That's who I was in Dallas with, all Dallas. And I'm sitting there, by the way, at dinner, listening to them tell me how they're amazing. They're going to go to the Super Bowl. They're going to beat the Niners, and I'm sitting there with my ribeye going, "You guys are both so delusional."
Yeah, I'm just going to
and
eat
guess
my
who
steak.
texted me? And they said, "We owe you another steak dinner." I go,
Yeah.
pretty much. But let's talk just straight out numbers. Here's the deal. I mean, and Melissa and the girls know that, like, Micah Parsons loves to talk. And
love
it
Micah
drives
Parsons
me
around here.
nuts. And
Oh,
then,
I love
but
Micah
your little
Parsons.
boy, DeMarcus Lawrence, sure wanted to talk last week.
Oh.
And that's what I feel they go wrong.
Uh-oh.
Stop talking, because this is what happens. And it comes back to bite him. He's like, "We just hit him in the mouth. We just hit him in the mouth." And then they go down and we just hit him in the mouth again. Well, guess what? You got hit in the mouth.
Yep.
Because the Cowboy, I'm
mean,
sorry, the
sometimes
Buffalo
we
Bills
eat our
ran
words.
it. The Buffalo Bills ran the ball 49 times.
Is that ironic?
Oh.
Is that ironic?
I don't know.
I'm going to say that again. Buffalo Bills ran the ball 49 times. Ask me how many times Micah got a tackle or was involved in the play out of 49 times.
I mean, you know what? They did shut down Micah, and he did not have.
No.
But you know what?
But what's the
And
number?
that was the most frustrating part is as you watch the game, they're running all over us. Like, stop it.
Right.
Fix it. You
That
guys
was
know
Cook's-
they're
no,
running
that was
on
Cook's
us. Like,
5th straight game with 100+ yards.
He was so.
Oh my God.
I've never hated hearing the name Cook so much.
And did
I
you-
was like, I get it.
Do you
Stop.
notice Diggs and Allen were like,
They were like friends.
they were like vibing.
They
a
were
little
like
bit.
chilling finally.
The
I was
Diggs
like,
and
okay,
Allen
something
feud
something's-
is-
You know,
well, that
they were
shows
hungry,
you.
though. They showed
Of
up.
course.
And we have to, instead of just digging on Dallas, we have to give Buffalo
It's
credit,
true.
too.
It's
Yeah.
true.
You know, because
It's
they
true.
did show up. They
agree.
did play a hell of a game.
But
and
But I do want to go back to
I
my
mean,
Micah
Cowboys,
thing.
though, we got to.
Because Micah was involved out of those 49 runs. How many times? You just want to take a guess? How many times was he involved in
know.
the play?
No.
Just take a shot. Out of 49 times.
4.
Close.
Oh.
2.
Closer.
25.
So
That's
hopeful.
a Dallas fan.
We love it.
We
love
six,
Delusional.
6 out of 49. So where was Micah the entire game? And that would tell me why Skip Bayless threw out.
His
He
jersey.
usually is fumbling up with the
Yeah,
Dak
the
Prescott
Dak.
jersey, but this
He's
week
quick
it was
to turn
Micah.
on us.
I know, but let's talk about Cooks, like you said. James Cooks, by the way, 179 just in rushing. 42
Insane.
yards and catches,
Wow.
221 yards. He was on fire.
I mean, those
Dak-
hurt to hear.
Dak stats, 21 of 34, 134 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 1 interception. However,
Goose egg.
interesting. Josh, not much better.
No.
7 out of 15.
Huh.
Think about that.
Yeah.
He only threw it 15 times. That's like
I
a
mean,
couple
they
times
ran.
a quarter.
Yeah.
Right? 94 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception. So it was just a weird game. But at the end of the day, when it comes to your Cowboys, and I actually had text this morning from the other Cowboy fans, and they're just not happy. But she said, we were sold a bill of goods. Like, you know, she's like, I'm so over this shit, you know? But at the end of the day, here's the biggest problem, I think, for Dallas, and just as a fan, is that the Cowboys have only won once on the road in 30 years in a playoff game.
What?
And that game was on turf against the Bills.
That's
I mean, which means we're
that's
due.
good. You
Which
are
means
due.
we're
You
due,
are
right?
due.
The glass is half full, guys.
I
You
mean, the
love
Jimmy
it.
Johnson curse is broken. It has to, like,
Well,
I keep telling everyone at some point with me saying it's our year, it's going to be true.
Amen.
Like
Yeah.
at one point in my life, I hope it's going to be true.
Better
Like,
you than me. Sure.
well, speaking of,
No.
is it time? Speaking of, no, I think it's time to
Oh.
talk about the Niners.
I thought we were talking about
Cardinals.
something else. No, we can talk about that.
Yeah, we'll get there.
We don't have to.
And yes, does anybody want to congratulate?
I mean, it was an
I mean, I know. To be
I don't
honest,
know what
I
happened.
Never,
text. She blacked out. She's like, I blacked out. I don't remember anything.
I never loved playing the Cardinals. To be honest, I just don't. I always gave up my seats during the Cardinals-Niner games when I had season tickets.
Interesting.
Oh, I just first I don't like when there's two red teams playing. It's like my OCD. It's too much.
Yeah.
I can't. I want to know that my Niners are all in red, and then you can't really figure out who's who of it. I just don't like it. So I'm just being honest. But I will tell you. So I was obviously sick this week, and so I was watching Dallas. I put Dallas and the Bills on the main TV because that was really more interesting to me. I kind of figured we would just take the W.
Yeah.
So on my cell phone was I watching the Niner Cardinal game. It was a mess.
I mean, just kind of another sign that you're leaning toward
I'm
being
not-
more of a
No,
Cowboys fan.
I love watching the
I'm
demise.
just
Let's
going
get it
to say
straight.
it.
I love watching the demise. But let's talk about my boys, and I'd love to get your guys' thoughts. I mean, let's be honest, the MVP conversation, Jalen is now out.
Yeah,
After that
absolutely.
game, right?
Absolutely.
So who leads? Two of my boys, CMC, Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
I guess Lamar Jackson's still hanging in there. Maybe Josh Allen. I don't really, maybe Myles Garrett. I don't know. But let me tell you, I mean, Brock was 16 for 25, 242 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. CMC, 18 carries, 115 yards, 1 TD rushing, and 5 receiving yards, 72 yards, 2 touchdowns for a total of 3 touchdowns for CMC, who is just killing the running game. It is a future Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
I couldn't be more happier that we made that trade. To Kyle and John Lynch for making that trade happen. We gave away the farm to get that guy, and it has proven to be the
And
right
you still have money.
call. And we still have money.
Still
have
and
money.
Brock Purdy,
Which is
we
huge.
have
Yeah.
for under $1 million.
I mean, that's incredible.
So it was very.
After this season, though, that boy's going to want a pretty penny more.
But you know what? He has a
worth it.
Kohl's
Yeah.
budget and a little backpack. He's not a Louis Vuitton guy.
He likes his cornfield.
Right,
He likes to
so
plow
I
that
think-
corn. He
I
just,
think we'll be
he needs
okay.
some jeans
You know, the
and-
thing
We'll be
about
okay.
the Niners are that, you know, like we've always said, like if they're healthy, they're the
Yeah.
most dangerous team, right?
Yeah.
This league has become a passing league. I think we all know that. It's, you know, the running back value has gone down. But come playoff time,
Yeah.
you need to run the ball.
Yeah.
And when you have someone like CMC who can not only run but catch if he needs to, and you got Debo with his 2 touchdowns, this team is dangerous. And it's very dangerous.
It feels like a video game. Like
Yeah.
when I watch, I feel like, am I watching someone play Madden? Like it doesn't feel real. There could be this much talent on one team, so consistent,
Shanahan,
so
baby.
balanced.
And-
But you know, we can't forget that the Niners lost 3 in a row this season too. So
But
Why
that
do we
was
gotta bring up
earlier.
old shit? What do we got to bring up? old
they
shit?
are
no.
unstoppable.
No.
But that was earlier in the season.
And what did I say? I said I'm glad that they're losing.
Get it
now.
out of the way.
I want it out of the way.
Get it
now.
out of the way.
Yes.
And like,
But do you think that they can carry that consistency
right now
through
Yeah.
the playoffs?
Yes.
Through,
Yeah. Right now we're mad. We should have been in the Super Bowl last year.
I mean, you
Period.
guys were mad at the Eagles. You could tell
Oh, yeah.
when you
Oh.
went out that was
that
a
game was circled
heated-
on everybody's
Yeah.
calendar for years. By the way, shout out to all the 49er faithful for being the #1 fan base in the traveling
We love it.
world of the NFL.
Wow.
Our fan base travels, and this is not just me. This was a stat from one of the.
This is
the
a real
ticket-
stat.
The tickets, yeah, no, the tickets, like the ticket masters and all those.
Yeah,
they can tell who's the best football team fans that are traveling, and right
Interesting.
now it's the Niners. And I'm telling you, because I'm obviously in, and I went to the Niners and the women of Niners, and we'll talk about that maybe another time. But our fans travel everywhere.
And you know what? That's huge. That's big.
And it's huge because
Makes
it's
a
like we're a
difference.
home game
Yeah.
everywhere we go. So we're not afraid to play anyone anywhere.
Yeah.
We're really
Absolutely.
not. But I do want to say, when you were talking about, we are one of the most, we are the most complete team,
Yeah.
right? Let's just be honest. But I remember when Brandon Ayuk was in the doghouse because he was making mistakes.
Yeah.
I remember when, we had these same guys, but they've all come up to a level that is elite and
Yeah.
they gel.
Yeah.
Right? They gel. You can tell that they like each other. You can tell they
And
all have
that's
each other's
huge.
back.
That's
And
huge.
I don't know if you guys saw this, but even the blocks coming from
Kittle.
like Mike Kittle.
Yeah.
Right?
A blocking tight end?
I mean,
Bravo.
you could tell he's like, bro, if I don't get the call, I'm gonna give my best blocks.
Right, right.
There's this team effort and I love that our boy Purdy was like, I think CMC's the MVP.
I love that.
That's
How do you
cool.
not love that guy?
Yeah.
I know.
More? And
I know.
shout out to Joe Davis, who was here last week, right? And he said our first thing before he started talking about Brock, what did he say?
Nicest guy.
Yeah, I love
Nicest
that.
guy
Right?
off the field that you could imagine. Just as nice as
love
you
it.
would
Yeah.
want him to be.
He's like the
Exactly.
one nice guy. I probably would be fine with him not succeeding.
Yeah.
I'll be okay with that one.
That's so funny. Well, I mean, Brock leads right now in several of the quarterback categories.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why he is leading the race right now. Yards per pass, 9.9. Passing touchdowns, 29.
I mean, he's
TD
putting them up.
TD to interception, 29-7. And the passer rating, as of right now, on these 119. And don't tell me he's a system quarterback. Stop it.
No.
know.
It's over.
Who would say that?
And you guys know, have I ever said that?
No, but I did hear that.
No.
Who was talking about
Someone
that?
ignorant?
So basically.
Somebody who doesn't watch the game.
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
The only people that say that are watching clips. They've never watched him play
Yeah.
from beginning to end from the start of last year. Because if you watch him the way I have from beginning to end, I'm like, that's our new guy. And you know what? I so bad want to say the word Joe, but I don't.
No.
But I know that everyone's thinking. Everyone's thinking.
Give it time.
No, it's
Give
not
it
even.
Time.
I won't even say there'll never be another Joe Montana.
no.
But what I will say is that he is our next franchise quarterback.
Yeah, that's fair.
Book it.
and it's
Done.
been a long awaiting. Long awaited.
Long
Like
awaiting.
it's yeah.
We've gone through Trey,
Yes.
Alex, Jimmy G. I mean, Nick Mullins.
You
he
guys
showed up
really
today.
have gone
We've
through
gone through a lot.
for the
A
last
lot.
couple years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least you've been
Carr.
stuck with
Don't
Dak
forget
for
Carr.
8 years.
Yeah, not stuck. We
Consistently.
love Dak.
Okay, you love
I
Dak.
love Dak, and Dak is
But
getting
at
us
least
a
you've
Super
had
Bowl
one
ring.
guy.
Yeah.
But at least you've had one guy to love
Yes.
or hate the whole time.
Been
We've
a game
had
of musical chairs.
that-
Right.
I mean,
Up in the
after
Bay.
Romo, we struggled with Romo for a while, and then we got Dak.
Yeah. Well, I'll
Yeah.
give it to you guys. You guys have loyalty
Yes.
because he doesn't let him go, But anyway, that's there wasn't much to talk about the game other than, we won and we're the NFC champs, and I love that. And I'm excited to see. I feel like,
And what's your schedule? Like, what's the Niners schedule the rest of the year, or the rest of the other 3 games? It's
the Rams was the last game. You just caught me off guard.
You got the Ravens. Oh, you got
the
the
Ravens.
Ravens. That's gonna be a big
Christmas,
one.
baby.
That'll be a
the
big one.
big game.
That's a big one.
That is the last game of
Let's
Christmas
go,
night.
Ravens.
That is going to be the last, I think, big game before the playoffs.
okay.
I think that'll be a
Santa
telling
wears
game
red,
for
right?
both teams.
Yeah.
Santa wears
Santa
red.
wears red.
And it's funny because what are the colors of the ice house? Purple and red.
True.
But, we're wearing red, But
But blue mixes and it makes purple
I
too.
mean,
So
you
let's
know-
not.
But before we go, we got to talk about what has finally happened. We've talked about it several times, and I think she's really happy. The Chargers finally fired
Staley.
Staley, and I
and
really
another guy.
the GM.
So here's the thing.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah,
the
let's
Chargers
get into
Raider
it.
game. Let's
Let's
go.
talk about that Charger Raider game. And here's what I want to say. What a dumpster fire. When I tell you, I started watching that game, and within the first 8 minutes was like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Why? What is 64? What is the basketball game? Like, what do we, was 63, whatever. Nothing was clicking. Nothing was clicking. But at the same time, Mr. Stick, the quarterback, he didn't have a terrible game. He had 234 yards. He had a touchdown. 3 touchdowns, actually. See? But what a dumpster fire of a defensive showing. Mr. Staley, who's so adamant about saying, I'm going to keep calling the defensive plays. I know what I'm doing.
Right.
You clearly don't.
You already knew that.
You clearly don't.
We've seen it.
You already knew that was going to come back.
We knew that was going to come back, right? And the Chargers don't fire people in December. They don't fire people mid-season.
I feel like December firing is a big move.
It's a ballsy move.
Yeah.
Swear to God, if I was the owner, I swear to you on my life, he would not have been out there third quarter.
Oh, yeah. So that's what I was thinking.
Nope.
Just get him out of here.
I honestly, I would have made such a bold, I would have been like, you know what? Thank you for all you've done.
Right.
So-and-so will finish the rest of the half.
92 rushing
swear
yards,
to God.
Monica. 92 rushing yards.
It was bad.
And all those yards came in at the end of the game. And to that I say this, guys, for the rest of the year, as I've changed my allegiance.
Oh, right.
Here we go.
This is a huge moment. This is a huge moment.
Welcome.
And I never thought I would see
I
the
want
day.
to be on a winning team.
Thank
for the rest
you.
of the year,
I really
guys.
like that. I need that.
Yeah,
in my
no,
life.
listen,
Yeah.
borrow whatever.
See, come to the winning. How about you? Which
Oh,
under
God,
your-
no.
under your sweatshirt?
Nope.
What's under your
No.
sweatshirt?
Mine is just a black tank top. I will never, ever, ever, ever leave my Dallas
Oh
Cowboys.
my God.
I didn't want to
Especially
leave.
for
I was
them.
forced out.
Welcome.
I didn't want to leave the Chargers
Yeah.
this year.
I
Maybe,
mean-
hashtag maybe next year for the Chargers.
Maybe.
But this year,
Oh my
I'm
God.
I'm
the
jumping on the
Chargers
winning
have
bandwagon.
some talent. They just
can't.
don't have.
We have the worst
complete
Bosa brother.
team.
Okay, that's what we're gonna say.
I can't talk bad about the Chargers. I
No.
was.
Tear it down, and rebuild. Tear it
That-
all
yeah.
down.
What's that? What's
Just
that
start
gif
over.
of Wednesday and Adam's family to like light the match and
Yes.
just stand there?
Let's just
Watch it burn,
try
baby.
something different.
And move
I
on.
mean, was the halftime score? Do you remember that? Was it 42-0?
She blacked
Yes.
out by then. She was.
I had to relook at that. I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
she
My
blacked-
eye was
she
twitching.
blacked
My
out by
eyes
then.
just
Is this
glazed
real?
over.
No, I had a twitch in this eye.
Yeah.
I thought I was having an aneurysm.
So
Like-
not only were you guys down by 42 points at half, it was to the Raiders too.
That's so hurtful.
Like
That's so
the
hurtful.
Raiders who didn't even score a touchdown the previous game.
That's so hurtful.
Oh my
And
God.
the Chargers Raiders tension too
Oh.
just made it
It's-
hurt
oh, yeah.
even
Oh.
more.
Yeah.
Like
I don't ever go to those games.
No.
Yeah.
Nothing.
and Antonio Pierce, the new coach who I love,
Right.
LBC
He's
is in the
amazing.
house,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
From
he's
the
amazing.
Raiders. He's like all gas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Going into the tunnel, they're like, so what are you gonna? He's like, all gas, don't
Yeah.
let up.
Yeah.
I mean, there was no, hey, let's take it.
Didn't
No.
he
No.
lead
They
like
were
a
not
like a
stopping.
high school team, and he said it was like 99-0 or something. He's known for like all gas, doesn't matter. No
Okay,
mercy.
but did we
No
see the
mercy.
post game? What's his name with his shirt off and his cigar?
Crosby,
Yeah, no.
Mike Crosby.
Like
I
it
know.
is.
He's like
Calm down.
He's a
know.
cartoon
I-
character.
But he was feeling himself in that.
my sober
post-game.
brother. My sober brother. We
Lord.
gotta one day. That's on my list that I have a cigar with the Raiders.
Oh my gosh.
Like I need to be involved in that.
Oh.
Mainly Max with Max.
Yeah.
But I mean, so wait, are we really serious? Are you giving up your
For this year,
Oh, okay. Okay.
I said this year I'm
Okay.
giving up, and
That's
I've joined this bandwagon.
Okay.
because I want something to be excited
I'm
about.
judging you.
You should. You should blame Staley for this.
Yeah.
He's literally pissed me off to the point where my Sundays get ruined. My Thursday this week was ruined.
Yeah.
You started my whole weekend off
But
badly.
did you really have that high of hopes for them?
Dude, I don't want to see a blowout like
I mean,
this.
they're the Chargers. I feel
I
like,
gotta-
Every
Every year. I get it.
I feel
it's
it.
rough.
I feel like
I
at least
feel
a
it.
good mid you would have been okay with a good mid season.
Yeah.
You know? Just
But you know,
but
listen,
this is
it's a California
unacceptable.
team.
This is unacceptable.
It's a California team.
yes.
And I like football. I am a football fan.
Right.
I'm a Charger fan, yes, but I can admit when the ship has sank.
right.
Well, you guys know what I think about the Chargers, right? I just feel like there's no grit on that team. They're just like, I'm sorry, but Herbert, he's a good quarterback. It's great. I don't see him firing people up. I think it's a very monotone team.
Mid.
I think that when you lost San Diego and you moved to LA, I think you lost that one little fire that the Chargers had, the Dan Fouts of the world and
LTs.
LTs.
Yeah.
Drew Brees.
And though we
Phil
love
Rivers.
a friend of the show, Keenan Allen, I think that I think the vets are tired.
Yeah.
I think the vets
They
are tired.
wasted Keenan
And
Allen's year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They wasted it.
And he was
So
healthy
much
this year.
talent.
Eckler just looks like lost.
He
on
was
the
arguing for that
sidelines.
contract. I don't see any argument anymore.
I am dead serious.
nothing, no.
And as the owner, I fault you for having this coach who was horrible in the press conference. I would never get behind a guy that talked to me like that or talk to the media like
To the
that.
fans
So,
like
to the
that.
Fans like
That's
that.
so
It was just
disrespectful
bad.
to
on
the
that.
fans.
And here's
That
do you
grump.
think he'll get another job? You know, there's always get another job somehow.
Oh.
But when you talk about
Not a
fans
defensive
that
coordinator
way-
job.
Not in the NFL, maybe in college.
Yeah.
What did Rex Ryan say? Go back to Division 3?
Oh,
I don't know.
Oh my God.
I
I'm
mean,
sure there's a Pop Warner team that needs
I'm
him.
sure someone needs you.
Well, we can't leave here without talking, and we're probably going to go over a little bit, but the Chiefs-Patriots game.
Man.
Let's talk about that because, first of all, we had Joe Davis here. Thank you, Joe, for hanging out with the crew. We learned
Diana
a lot.
for
And-
hooking it up.
Yeah, Diana for pulling some strings.
Yes.
And Joe Davis, he's the broadcaster for the Dodgers, and he does the NFL games. He does MLB. He does everything. And he actually told us is that he was going to do the Chiefs-Patriots game. And so to hear him on,
he did great.
Just like
Yes,
just with him, and to hear him
yes.
actually call the
So
game,
cool.
and he actually did talk about Taylor, which we had talked about.
Yes.
It was kind of cool. So that
Yes.
was
Very cool.
A shout out to Joe, but another quarterback. And I say another after Hurts, who just looks like you're falling apart.
a baby.
A baby.
He's a baby.
Everything's good when you're good. But
Yes.
like you said, who are you when things aren't going to go
Character
your way?
matters.
Who is your character? And what has Patrick Mahomes showed us these last two games?
Thank you.
What has he showed us?
He's not a leader.
No.
I don't know if he's not a leader. The thing is, in sports, you're passionate. He apologized for his temper tantrum.
He did.
And I think it was Stephen A. Smith. He said something which I didn't like, that what he did has completely embarrassed who he is.
Oh,
and
no, it wasn't
look,
that serious.
He had
I mean,
he had a
yeah.
tantrum. Again, I think the biggest thing we didn't like is the way he confronted
Josh
Josh
Allen.
Allen.
That
we
was
didn't,
bad.
we didn't dig that.
That was bad.
Both him and the Walrus, Andy Reid, got fined. I love Andy. Also, I think the Walrus is one of the coolest nicknames ever. But he's such a stand-up guy. He's such a smart guy. They both made a mistake. And we can all admit we've been uncharacteristic every once in a while.
Right.
But he was 27 for 37 in
Yeah.
this game. He had 2 picks, but he had 2 touchdowns.
But I have to say, if Dak Prescott were to throw a tantrum like that and act out in
That's
that
true.
way,
Okay, that's fair.
the conversation would
be
be
different.
a lot different. And
You're
it's
right.
almost like
Yeah.
because he's a younger quarterback, because we maybe expect that out of him. He's immature, so we forgive it.
Yeah.
But, when we're talking quarterbacks, we got to line him up across the board.
True. He's like America's
Brock
sweetheart
Purdy,
or something.
If Purdy
Yeah.
was
Like a little
that
teddy
way,
bear.
they would
No.
rip him apart,
That's
I would
what
think.
I don't like.
He's like
right?
a little America's little teddy bear.
Well,
America's
hey.
sweetheart.
Why?
So I have my
I know,
little
I
cousin,
know.
little Huddy. His name's Hudson.
Okay.
Okay?
Shout
He's
out to Huddy.
Shout out to Huddy.
Yeah.
He is killing me
What's up?
because I thought we made this clear that you are going to grow up a Niner fan.
Right.
I-
You injected him at
I-
birth, right? With
I pretty much everybody that has a child anywhere around me
It's known.
gets Niner gear from conception. Somehow I missed this. I've been too busy.
Uh-oh.
I take
Oh,
some of the
no.
responsibility. But if he gets one more Kansas City shirt, sweats,
yeah. Merch.
and
Yeah.
he's like, the Niners are my third team. I'm like, this is gonna
Oh.
this. But maybe like you, he will see the light,
Yeah.
and we will get him some 49ers Super Bowl.
I mean,
gear.
maybe some Cowboys fans will come around.
But
his
I
life.
asked him why where did this Kansas City Chiefs come
Yeah,
from?
yeah.
And I asked my cousin, his mom,
Okay.
and why do you think it is?
Mahomes.
Because of the same reason this girl
Oh,
loves-
little
because of
teddy
the-
bear,
because of the
little America.
Netflix.
Yeah.
because of Netflix.
Yeah. They sell you
Really?
the
They
whole
sell you
stories.
the whole
That's how I
story.
became Dan Campbell fan, and
You
now
get
look at me.
emotionally attached.
Now look at me.
Yeah. So I'm just saying there's a lot of, I agree with you. I feel like Patrick is the good old boy.
Yeah.
And so he gets these passes, but you got to see a little version of him that exists.
They didn't show that in quarterback.
Sorry.
They didn't show that.
Yeah, didn't show that in quarterback. And by the way, let's not forget about, there's this whole thing about the receivers. They're just dropping all the passes, and it's all their fault.
Yeah. Oh, Kelsey.
Okay, but check this out. You remember this guy named Tyreek Hill?
Oh, that's right.
Yes, I do.
That's
do you
right.
remember what he said
Name sounds
after
familiar.
he went? So he would, just for some of the newbies, Tyreek Hill was a part of the Kansas City Chiefs, and he ended up going to Miami. There's a lot of speculations of why, but there was some discord, I think, with the Chiefs.
Right.
Yeah.
He didn't like how they were not using him as much.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. Now he ends up with Tua. Right.
Yeah.
And he goes on to say on his podcast, another one with the podcast, how I think Tua, my new quarterback, is more accurate than Patrick.
Wow.
And I'm just saying that was kind of talked about last
That's
season,
a big
right?
statement.
I
Remember
know.
that?
I'm like,
I don't know if you
in
guys
my
remember
head.
that, but now I look now and I'm like, this is interesting because now you guys are blaming the wide receivers. So I'm saying, did Kansas City underestimate of how important Tyreek Hill really was?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
And Tua was 21 for 24 this week.
Yeah.
And Tyreek Hill said at the beginning of the season, I'm going to have a 2,000-yard season.
Yep.
I think he's only like 456
Yeah.
away
Yeah.
out last week.
Woo!
Killed me in fantasy. Thanks so much, by the way. But yeah, dude, I think they made a mistake. He's
Yeah.
a great weapon to have in your arsenal.
Yeah.
You know?
And even though the Chiefs won that game, I feel like the score was so misleading because the Patriots dominated. The Patriots just couldn't put up points and they couldn't make it happen. But the Chiefs just happened to
It
score.
shouldn't have been that close of a game at all.
10 points, they lost by 10.
Exactly.
And the Chiefs didn't even get over 30.
Yeah.
I was
That's
watching that
embarrassing.
game and I was into it because I was like, what? And of course I was pulling for the Patriots. I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go
Me
right
too.
now,
I secretly
But
wanted Mahomes
again, it's
to
not
lose.
another it's another team that I think we would all agree is struggling.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
And the
from,
two Super Bowl
yes, that's what I was
teams.
gonna say.
What,
the
you
two
know,
you thought were going to be like no
Are
brainer.
just
They're going to be
falling
good.
apart.
They're built to last.
Yeah.
They're not built
Because
to
you know
last
why
this
though?
year.
Because
they
the
ain't got the
Niners-
Energizer.
I'm
Bunny.
sticking with my prediction.
Yeah.
Ravens, Niners, Super Bowl. That's my prediction.
Oh.
With the Niners coming out on top.
I'm not gonna.
I mean,
I
Monica's
co-sign
like,
that.
sounds
I
good
have
me.
to look at. To me, I just cannot see the Niners. I don't even want to say that. The Niners will go to the Super Bowl. They will get number 6. We have 5 rings right now, tied with Dallas, and I believe that we will have number 6.
Are we
by
going to
the
start
time.
hearing the quest for 6?
Oh.
Again?
Girl,
Are
I've
we
been
going to
saying it
start
for
that
25 years. I never stopped saying it.
5 years.
I should get that on my jacket.
Good tattoo.
But we did talk about Miami. I mean, let's hit on some quick little things. Like we'll do a little rapid refire, right? Feel free to throw out whatever we've missed. But Miami 30-0 with the Jets. The Jets. I mean, didn't they just have their best game last week? Zach
They're
Wilson.
very
had
tell
the
me.
best
hit
game.
and miss.
Is Aaron coming back still on Christmas Eve? I don't see why he was.
As of now,
Shouldn't.
when we rolled in here, he's not coming back.
Don't.
Yeah, why?
No.
Why?
Why?
Because he wants to prove a point.
There is no point to prove.
No.
Thank you.
Get out of here.
Thank you.
No. just
But
sit
I would
out.
ask you, ladies, do you think our bearded, I think we call him the sexiest coach in the NFL, Robert Saleh, do you think he's now maybe on the hot seat after
No.
the season or no?
No.
Do you think he's safe?
I think he made the best of a bad situation.
Okay.
Oh, I
do you
don't
think?
know.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, we know is a smart enough coach,
Yeah.
so I don't think we can sit and put all of the blame on him because
No.
he's just done too much. But you have to stop and think, is he a good fit? Is he going to be what is in this organization's future? Because sometimes coaches just don't
gel.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily a reflection of that coach or the organization. It's just
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
his biggest mistake was backing Zach for too long.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
And
agree.
that is
I
the
agree.
problem with most coaches, most owners.
Yeah.
And I remember when I started, even as an entrepreneur, one of the things I always heard, hire slow, fire fast.
Yeah.
Hire slow, fire fast. And these are coming from like multimillionaires that like give you all these nuggets. And that is now in my brain. And it's like, and I go back to Robert Saleh. Remember when he was like, no, he's our guy.
For so long.
No. No, he's not your
long.
guy.
No.
Browns, Bears.
Oh,
man.
that was exciting.
Browning from Folsom.
Browning.
Yay.
He was
Let's
my
give some love
sexiest
to
player
Folsom
last
Prison.
week. Folsom Prison.
Gosh.
That's how everyone knew us because I grew up playing soccer. And so when we go to tournaments, it was always, Folsom, where the prison
It's just
is.
Johnny
And you're
Cash
like,
would play. We just run on the field.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knows. And when I looked
Everyone.
him up and I saw Folsom, the first thing I think of is Johnny
Yes.
Cash, right?
Yeah,
Folsom
yeah,
Prison.
yeah.
How about Flacco? 38-year-old, like still getting it done.
You know?
Gets the W. Bears
Yeah.
failed on the Hail Mary.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Man.
What else? Did we miss anything besides your Brownings?
I mean, we can
covered
talk about the
Vikings.
Lions really quick.
There we go.
Talk about my Lions.
There we go.
Okay, I mean, they're number one in the NFC North, which is a huge deal for the Lions. Okay,
Huge.
I know this.
Huge.
But you contextualize this in that
Big deal for Detroit.
we're talking about
Yes.
Detroit, okay? Like every Goff career high, he matched ever 5 touchdowns, 3 to Laporta, who's just having a epic season as a rookie.
Yeah.
It's so exciting to watch the two of them together on the field. They keep it exciting. You don't know what's going to happen. I just feel like they're young. They have so much swagger. It's fun to just. I mean, you're rooting for the underdog, like you were kind of saying, right? It's like this is a team that's never had unprecedented success for all of them, and so to see it kind of all go down like this, it's so exciting. And then I think it's just a reflection of their draft picks. They really have utilized the draft to their best of their ability consistently each and every year, which is how they've built their talent to this point. And now they can actually perform as a cohesive team. And this year they did amazing. It's not, I mean, they're not Super Bowl worthy, but they are definitely going to the playoffs, right? And then we'll see next year what they can kind of do on top of this and pull together in the offseason at the draft and everything else. But they're exciting.
And
It's fun.
that always freaks me out when that trade happened between Goff and Stafford. Right? Because I'm like, you're literally just changing names. These are the same guys.
Same quarterback.
Same quarterback.
Same
Right?
person.
So I'm not alone on that.
No,
Okay.
100%.
No.
So I'm glad we all agree on that.
Yes.
And so to see him, you know, perform,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
okay then.
Like,
Okay.
I see you. I see you.
And sometimes, and I'm glad this is a good segue into the next thing I want to talk about and sometimes it's just the change of scenery.
Because he was he went to the Super Bowl. He was a Super Bowl quarterback, you know, but it wasn't the best team for him. I think now he's in a better team for him, like you were saying.
And you know where I'm going with that? There's 2 things we need to talk about before we leave here, and I got to talk about the Steelers. And starting to talk about Tomlin. And I've been saying this for years. For years, I say, tell me if I'm wrong. Good quarterback. I mean, good head coach, but needs to leave the Steelers because
I think he's
and so many people don't agree with me, and I totally get it. You're a winning quarterback. I mean, you're a winning head coach, but how many times have you won the playoffs? How many times have you made it to the Super Bowl? So how good of a coach are you? I think you're a good coach, but I think it's time for a change of scenery.
Different assets, like just different.
I do.
Expired.
It's going to be interesting.
Bring in
It's starting to be a
new-
conversation.
Okay.
People are starting to wonder, like, how long is he going to stay there?
Interesting. Okay, now it's like
There's a lot of questions coming up lately, I feel like, of loyalty and longevity and wanting to keep the same people in place and realizing when this just isn't working.
Yeah.
You know?
And by the way, their safety, DeMonte Casey, can't believe that they've suspended him for the rest of the season for a hit that I've seen millions of times.
Yeah, that was a little harsh.
Not, I don't know who's making these decisions.
You know, I
Don't agree
listened
with
to
that.
Micah Parsons break that one down, and he was just like,
ridiculous.
yeah, it really
It's
is.
ridiculous.
I mean,
Tom Brady came out.
and you're trying to make an example. Why?
right.
Yeah.
I think it has a lot to do with everything else happening in sports right now. You know, I mean, look what's happening in the NBA. I think right now, like everyone was criticizing the NBA for Draymond Green,
Right.
And being out. They say minimum of 3 weeks.
Wait, tell the newer.
So Draymond Green, America's favorite head case,
switching sports,
over to plays
basketball.
for the Warriors, Monica's team,
my team,
and this year has just exhibited bush league behavior. Last year he's stepping on people's chest. This year he's rear naked choking people.
Yeah.
Then he's hammer fisting people.
Like elaborate.
Just ridiculous. And everybody was like, when is the NBA going to do something? And they compared it to the NFL. And they said in the NFL, if you even hit someone a little bit wrong, they're going to fine you. You're out. You're going to have to pay for it. Whereas this guy's been getting away with everything and is now, they said, out indefinitely, but maybe 3 weeks, who knows. So I think the NFL kind of got a little boost from that.
Yes.
It was like, okay, so we are the standard
Right.
for how we penalize people. And now we're going to keep a real eye on it.
That's the only thing that makes sense. That's the only thing that makes
That
sense.
that was not a, get out of here.
Yeah,
No.
I wasn't happy with that. And the Draymond's another podcast, but I'm telling you, I have a lot to say on that.
Yeah.
I have a lot. And I, as a Warrior fan, I think what they've allowed him to do has been
The coach.
not okay.
Yeah.
The coach.
Not okay. Not the co-signing. And even now
You're
they're
enabling.
questioning Steve Curry's leadership.
Yeah.
I'm
Steve
shocked that
Kerr.
they got rid of Jordan Poole and kept Draymond. I'm shocked. I was shocked.
After last year.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Me too.
I mean, you hit the guy literally on tape, by the way.
Right.
Sock him.
Yeah.
Okay, we made a switch. Football.
Yeah,
I know.
sorry.
Okay, football.
It links back.
Let's go back. Let's just
They
give,
all tie in.
They
Yeah,
all
yeah.
ties in. Let's give flowers before we go to. I can't believe I'm going to say it, but do you guys know who had the best QBR in Lambeau Field? Made NFL history. Do you guys know who it is?
Say it.
Baker freaking Mayfield.
Who was on my bench in fantasy. Yeah, I know.
no.
29 points out of Baker Mayfield this week, guys.
Oh,
Went
my
into
God.
Lambeau acting like it was Disneyland, walking out with just a churro and a balloon.
Well,
Happy.
that's karma for putting on a 49ers.
Yeah,
shirt.
maybe it is. Maybe it is.
Shots fired.
Well, maybe
I love it.
I don't know. Should we end with that, or should we just point out the fact that some of the biggest quarterbacks who made the most money are all not playing?
No.
Yes.
and-
Yes.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk
Burrow,
about
That
it.
is-
let's talk about
let's
this
talk
and then
about
we'll
it.
end it because
The quarterback
Burrow's
curse.
200 and what, 75 something in there.
Yeah.
like that.
Lamar, he started this whole
Right,
mess.
yeah.
Deshaun, all of
started this whole
them,
mess.
all of them,
All of them.
over 220 plus, not playing,
Insane, you
Which
guys.
is crazy.
not playing, and
Well, Lamar's playing,
I'm sorry, Lamar's playing,
Yeah.
and Hurts is playing, but not well.
but not well.
But not well
well.
at all.
Not well.
No.
This week we're going to lose Lawrence for the Jags
Oh,
because
is
he's
he
on
out again?
concussion
Yeah.
protocol
So he's
now.
out.
We
Okay.
lost Cousins.
After he
my
bought
boy
the
Cousins.
entire offensive line go-karts?
Yeah.
All these go-karts in Florida?
That was so
Yes.
sad. Did it kind of remind you of Mario Kart a little bit? In my head, it was like a little Mario Kart. They're all driving their little.
You notice all the wheels were like reinforced?
Yes.
You know, because they were like,
I'm just saying, guys, if we owned a team,
Yeah.
Okay.
I would tell you guys, hey,
They'd be sexy, first of all.
wouldn't
Yes,
it be sexy?
they
We'd have the
would.
best colors.
Yeah.
I'm saying as an organization, I'm sure, there's reasons that this doesn't happen, but I'm like, I don't feel like paying $275 million and then you shit the bed.
No.
Like I'm
Yeah.
not into that. So I say as women, we change the game.
Okay.
And I say, I'm so confident in the team we have. I'm going to pay you $3 million per touchdown.
ooh.
Oh,
I'm
I
going to pay you $3
like
million
that.
per touchdown. But guess what? I'm going to minus 350, 400 per interception. And we'll just figure out, I'll write that check at the end of the year.
Ooh.
How about that?
Ooh, that would be so
Before we leave, can
interesting.
we acknowledge that the Panthers won a game, though?
Oh!
Congratulations.
After literally charging 45 cents a ticket to go to a Carolina Panther game. Yes, there
It
was
was
45 cents a ticket
insane.
before
Oh my
tax and
God.
fees. They won a game. What was it, like 6 though? Like seven?
we have
The
one-
taxes are more than the tickets.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We have one follower who's a diehard Panther.
Oh,
and she
shout
made
out.
sure she added us on that
Oh,
story that they
girl,
won.
yes. Yes,
girl,
girl.
yes. And before
Take
we
the
leave,
wins where you
let's
get
talk
'em.
about the pick'ems. Make sure you download the Football Sexy app. And
Hit
by
subscribe.
the way, I got 12 right this week.
Hey.
Could have been 13. We won't talk about this freaking Seattle.
The app is so fun. If you are using it, make sure you go into the App Store and rate it. Give it a
Yes.
5-star rating.
5 stars.
It's amazing. It's so much fun,
Yes.
you guys.
And I saw you are ahead of the game.
I am.
You are like 14. I'm 16.
I know. Hey, girl.
And
I forgot to do it one week and I
and
dropped.
look what happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
See,
you can't
guys,
forget
don't
it.
do that. Don't miss a week.
And we got to get you in there. I want to know.
I started. I downloaded the app and I picked a couple. I didn't last week. I was crazy busy last week. But
so what did you think about your experience here on the podcast with the girls?
I love it. I mean, I just love what you guys do. I love the whole football is sexy thing. I love getting together. I could sit here and talk all day long about that. Like,
so fun.
Literally go, you know, and I think I just love the way it all vibes. You guys have a really good flow and like.
Thank you.
No,
you were amazing, and I'm sure we're going to see you again.
Yeah.
And I
Welcome
can't say
back
go
anytime.
Cowboys.
like I said, you guys need diversity around here.
But I can
More
say
blue.
go Taryn. I wish you good luck. I don't wish your team good luck,
guys.
but I wish you as a person good luck. And it was so great having you.
Thank you.
We're definitely going to collab. And as always, keep it sexy.